Hey everybody, so I'm going to do a quick little exercise to give you some rules of thumb in regards to proportion. So remember, proportion is just being able to look at distance and being able to accurately reproduce it. If there's something wrong with a drawing of the human figure and it doesn't look human or it looks off, there's something wrong with the proportion. That's basically it. So I know my own height, which is about 73 and a half inches or 74. So half of that I use about 39. And half of that I use about 19, right? So those are proportions I can easily visualize: whole, half, and a quarter. So one thing that I do is I have this big T-square from um, when we were fixing part of our house, and I just measure myself and figure that out, right? So just like we said before, if I measure the exact midpoint of my body, it's not my belt, and it's not the base of my pelvis is right at my hip joint, right? That's right where that 37 inches falls, right at the joint of my hip. So one of the first things that we do wrong in proportion is because we don't interact with people's legs very much, so we make them too small, right? And then the other thing about that point, like that joint of your hip, that's exactly where the main part of your hand will fall, right? So if someone has their hands by their side, it will fall exactly halfway on the figure, and that's really helpful. Now, if I take that other measurement of about 18, I can sort of look for instances of a quarter of height in my body, right? So one of the things I do is I just put my fingertips on the square, and then right at the crease of my elbow, I'll be able to see that length is exactly 18. So my forearm all the way to the tips of my fingers is exactly one quarter the height of my whole body, right? So that kind of stands out. The other thing I can do, you can't really see it, but if I put the T-square on my leg, then from just below the knee to the soles of my feet, that's another unit of 18 inches, which is a quarter of my overall height. Now, another thing that I can do, and this is kind of hard, is if I put it right on my shoulder, and then I'm feeling down and feeling kind of my lowest rib, and if I map that onto the T-square, that is exactly 18 inches as well, right? So that's really, really useful in giving us a framework and helping protect us from compressing the rib cage or making the arms too short or something like that, just to know that the forearm to the fingertips is 18 inches, the just below the knee to the bottom of the foot is 18 inches, and the length of the rib cage is 18 inches, which is one quarter of the overall figure. Now here's something that's kind of weird. If you measure from the top of your head to your shoulders, this is a distance that's always overestimated. But on me, it's maybe 10 inches at the most. So it's pretty small, right? So part of this process of learning anatomical proportion is just realizing where you exaggerate and being able to check yourself.